Hey there everyone, my name is Archer After Epilogues, the story after the story, here for a good time, not for a long one, and I have another planetzoo speed build for you guys today. The second exhibit in the Money Story Zoo, in the Epilogues Incorporated franchise, where we are doing everything we can to remind our guests that they need to spend as much money as possible in my zoo and make me as rich as humanly possible, because that makes them rich too. Rich? Oh my goodness, that makes them rich too, good lord. So we are expanding in this episode into one of 3 different districts that I would like to have for this zoo. So we're going to have a rich royalty area, we're going to have a finance bro tech area, and this area, our third one that we are starting right now today, is going to be our poverty area. So this is going to be the section of the zoo where we are providing an example for our guests for what they're going to become if they don't spend money here like they're supposed to. So if they don't spend money, they're gonna become, impoverished, and they're going to live like all of the animals live in this section of the zoo. Of course, our animals are going to have all of their needs met, of course, but that's not what the guests need to know or something. I don't know. We're trying to scare them in this part of the zoo, okay? And I needed money. I needed something that had high appeal but wasn't as crazy as a carnivore, so we're doing a giant African interspecies exhibit here, so I'm making it as big as possible. And so today I wanted to try something out with terrain, making kind of a more natural looking exhibit. I'm just throwing with the stamp tool here. I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to use the terrain stamp tool for the first time ever, and it didn't really work out the way that I wanted it to. So I'm doing my best, y'all. I make it work. I make it happen. It looks pretty good. So, kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do an African exhibit like this, besides obviously the high appeal for kind of low effort, was because it was an opportunity for me to kind of do something that was a little bit more natural looking, because as you guys know, I am not that great at building things, like building actual buildings, but habitats, I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty good. Once I get some kind of skeleton going, I can get going. And it's hard to make me stop, I feel like, anyway, not to toot my own horn or anything. So I am making a little cave here, because one thing that we all know about people in poverty is that they oftentimes do not have access to easy shelter. So we're making their shelter a hole in the ground. I'm gonna put some decorative stuff in the exhibit later that you guys will see that are actual buildings and stuff like that, but the animal's main hideaway is going to be that whole cave thing there. We're gonna put a guest viewing thingy in there so that our guests can watch them sleep, because that's also what rich people like to do to poor people, is watch them for their entertainment all the time. So it works out. We're reminding our guests hey, if you don't want to be watched, then spend money at my zoo. So anyway, I wanted to kind of make this, obviously more natural. So I was gonna try and do like a exhibit barrier that was totally not a fence. So I'm doing a rock wall. I don't have a whole lot of money, as you can see in the bottom corner, and I didn't realize until just now recording this how low my money was when I was building this rock wall. Good lord. So I kind of have to come back and forth and build it in bits and pieces. Yeah, you can see me there trying to trying to build up the wall, because I'm realizing that the mountain is going to be too high for me to cover up properly with $500. So I am building as much of the wall as I can to encase the animals, so we can make more money, of course, right? Because we're all about making money, and I'm spending a little bit too much money right now trying to make it look good. So we're doing a rock wall. I'm trying to make this as naturalistic and kind of environmental as possible, so that way it looks not to say it this way, but poor. They're out in the wild, they don't have all the nice ritzy, they don't have gold paths here, right? You see I'm using black asphalt for the path. We don't have nice ritzy golden walkways and nice concrete walls and all this wonderful bougie stuff. No, we have dirt, we have mud, we have me struggling with the camera trying to get into the cave. And we have straw for beds. We don't get actual beds because we're not rich enough for actual beds. So if you want to be rich enough for beds, spend money at my zoo, I guess. So here I am trying to put in the under cave viewing area, and it was too big. I had to move some of the bedding because it didn't fit in there for some reason. So, you know, it's whatever. So we managed to fit it. We moved it around, and it's nighttime now, and I'm realizing, wow, I need more money. And my donation boxes. Oh my god, I don't have donation boxes to make money. So I was trying to figure out where to put the food. I was also trying to figure out where to put the water, but then I was like, hey, wait, I'm going to put water buffaloes in here probably. So I'm going to make like a little swimming corner, like a little watering hole corner, so that they can have the water, and also the water buffaloes that I'm going to put in here eventually can swim. And of course, because this is our poverty section of the zoo, we want to make this water as like filthy as possible because they are too poor to afford proper water treatment, of course. So I made it, I made it shit brown and made like this weird, like the fog or whatever is like a putrid nuclear green. So I think it works out really, really well. So anyway, we're going back to the rock wall here, and I'm like having a lot of fun, like figuring out like the rock situation. I had the random all positions and like, you know, random rotation and random all enabled just because, you know, I needed some variety because I'm not gonna sit here and place every single rock and rotate every single rock the exact right way, and it's just, you know, I want variety, but I don't want a lot of work, you know. That's typically why I don't ever do these cool builds, because it takes so long to place everything so like perfectly and make things look nice, and I'm just impatient. You know, but I had a lot of fun, I guess, figuring out where I can put the rocks and making things come to life here. It was a lot of fun just kind of building up the wall. Then I tried to turn this into, like, null fences and then realized that the water, like, didn't like that. So, I had to keep the brick fence there. I couldn't even lower the fence for the watering hole. It was really annoying, but I didn't want to remove the water and then, you know, do all of this other stuff. Yeah, you can see there, I can't even lower it because somehow lowering the brick wall that's like 10 feet above ground is gonna ruin the water placement. So, you know, whatever, but it's fine. So I just left it and I just built rocks around the wall. Nobody will know. They'll never know. So, yeah, we are flying a little bit too close to the sun there, aka a little bit too close to the bank, but it's fine. You know, it's kind of giving, you know, those pictures of, like, I don't remember which countries exactly it is, but you can see like the divide between like the rich business districts and the slums kind of, and it's like a little fence, like a little thin tiny fence that separates them. So that's kind of what it's giving, and it's kind of, you know, accurate. So it's kind of accurate, it's kind of true to life, so I am perfectly okay with it. It's kind of nice, you know, kind of nice. So there's the rock wall, pretty much for the most part almost completed. I'm not happy with it. I want this wall to be higher, and then I remembered that I have a backside to it that I need to fix as well. So we're filling that in, and we'll come back and we'll fill it in later because I now have $3.51, and that is not what this zoo is about, people. So yeah, we're gonna check and make sure that none of my animals can escape, because I think some of the antelopes or the springbok or whatever I put in here can jump on the rocks, and I want to make sure they can't get out. So now I'm looking for decorations to put into this exhibit because we can't, you know, it's poverty, but it's boring to just have like a dirt hill. You know, we need something. So I'm building a little shack by our dirty water pond. The animals cannot go into it. I might maybe later change it so that they can. But I think the shack is kind of nice. Those are not the right slats for that roof, but I don't care because it's the poverty zone and nothing is supposed to look nice. So everything kind of looks like crap, but it's all part of the aesthetic, baby. Then I discovered that there are mud walls in this game, and that kind of surprised me. I was like, what do I do with a square mud wall? But you know, there's probably something we can do with that later. But anyway, you know, I'm just looking for parts. Putting a lot of wood, putting a lot of like run down looking things. I thought I was going to use that umbrella. I thought it was bigger, and it was not, so I did a tiny one. And then I put that log there because that log was actually pretty great. And then I started looking for string and other things that I can put down. I found these tires. Oh my goodness, it was so awesome. During this part of the stream, add things to the list I never thought I would ever say, but I think the phrase, "it's giving poverty, it's giving impoverished," came out of my mouth probably like 20 bajillion times. So, you know, that's an interesting character development for me, romanticizing poverty. But, hey, you know, I feel like it's kind of meta, you know, and I feel like me doing this just kind of like goes to show that I know what I'm doing. Or something. You know what I mean? Anyway, so now there's a bunch of trash in the exhibit, and I think it looks really nice, but we need some like plants and coverage and things like that. So I'm putting palm trees down. Then I started putting, I know it's not like super realistic, but you know, trees on the rock wall and a little baobab tree there, and some bushes and stuff like that. I tried not to make the exhibit too cluttered with trees. Oh, and by the way, those plants, those reeds by the pond, I ate with that, just saying. But I tried to not do so many trees like actually physically in the middle of the exhibit, because I don't like it when the trees take away the animal space to walk around in and stuff like that. It really like kind of bothers me. So it bothers me that they have a really wide berth around the trees, but whatever. Finished adding the bushes to the rock wall. It looks super nice. It looks super cute. And then we go in and add the enrichment and stuff like that. But it all looks very nice. Then I remembered that I wanted to try doing a like path here. My research was completed. Yippee. Yeah, all my animals were getting sick because I don't have a quarantine, so it's fine. So I made a little path and then a glass wall, and then again I tried to extend the glass wall, but apparently the pond doesn't like that, so I just gave up and just extended the glass wall. So that was pretty cool. And added a donation box. I don't think guests really go down there, but it's there. I was gonna add a fence, and then I realized that fence kind of sucks, so I started looking for another one, and I couldn't find one. I decided to wait for research points for me to get more decorative stuff, and then I remembered that I needed an entrance for the viewing dome, so I put that in there, and I will go back and decorate that later. And I'm so sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. She is trying to escape. But mommy's recording right now, sweetie, so I need to get this done. Oh, and I think it's hilarious and awesome that the animals, like, don't ever eat. I think I put the food dish, like, too far from the gate, so the keepers are too lazy to walk over there, so the animals eat off the ground all the time, and I think that works, like, perfectly. Honestly, because we're not rich enough for plates and forks and knives and things like that. So even their enrichment items, you know, they they eat them off the ground. So it's kind of on theme, you guys. Here I am adding the education. I didn't really edit that nicely because I was gonna add other things later. Oh, and of course I didn't have power, and so I had to add power. And then I realized I put them in upside down again, so I added power and then turned them the right way around. But couple things that I wanted to do was make like an actual like you know, shelter area, like proper shelter like viewing area thingy in that spot, but I didn't have enough money, so I'm probably gonna go back and do that at a later point, just so we can make it look a little bit nicer, especially that like bottom section. I want to put statues and stuff like that down there, so we will get to that once I unlock more research and do well, not really do, but do more research and get more decorative pieces, so that way we can build something nice. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out, all things considered. It looks really good. It's giving poverty, you guys. It's giving impoverished, and our guests are not going to want to live like this, so they're going to spend money in my zoo, right? Of course, they're going to be enriched by all the poor, impoverished animals in this exhibit, and they're going to be like, dang, that sucks. Better give Archer money so that I don't end up like that. And they'll give me money and then they'll end up like that anyway, because that's how capitalism works, baby. And my cat is trying so hard to escape right now. So I'm gonna go leave you guys with the cinematic shot. So enjoy how the exhibit looks, and I will see you all next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other ideas, because you guys were giving me so many good ideas last time, please leave some in the comments. Tell me what you like. Tell me maybe ways you think I could improve this exhibit, things like that. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys around. Bye, everybody, and thank you so much.